It's CORSO and CATONE. Brought to you by CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Now for the real deal New England feel. CORSO and CATONE.
Welcome into CORSO and CATONE, the real deal New England feel. Oh, Mike, I came in strong on that, huh?
Okay, what is wrong with you already today?
CATONE is here. Joe's with us in the booth. You are watching us on YouTube. Hey, make sure when you get on YouTube, you subscribe, like the show, and hit that little bell. Get all our notifications so you never, ever miss a show. And you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, 790 The Score. And, of course, send us a email on our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com, or you can call us in our heated hotline, 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S, or 7287, whichever you prefer. Leave us a message 24/7. It's a message line. Have a take. Got a good one today. In heated hotline, I'm going to hear from one of you in the nation in heated hotline. We're going to talk B's and C's. Boy, 80 points between two guys. We'll talk about a record that's never happened in Celtics history. So we'll discuss that, as well as Catone's comments. Look at the face. Look at the face you're making right now. Look at that stupid face you're making. So who knows what he's got in store for us. Stick around. And, of course, Yankees versus Red Sox. Hi, guys. What's the matter with you now? I see the face. What's wrong?
No, you're all excited because you love Pritchett because Pritchett scored 40 points. You love Pritchett.
You've never I don't know what you have against that
Pritchett.
kid. Do you think he'd start on another team? We'll talk about it in B's.
We'll talk about that when we get to the C's, but you love him.
Hi, Joe.
Hi. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm a big fan of Pritchard myself.
My favorite player. I was a little disappointed that neither one of you got me a Pritchard shirt for Christmas.
No. It's still in the works, by the way. That is still in the works.
He's waiting until next season.
It's March. Still in the works, Chris. It's March.
I'm designing it, so you know.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's see if somebody out in the nation will be so generous and give me a Pritchard jersey. Heated hotline, Joe.
Wow, that was too quick. Here we go. I get all riled up because this one is a write-in, but a good one. Hi, guys. It's Paul from Providence.
Oh,
you son of a bitch. He came back. Go ahead.
He's back.
Well, we didn't think he'd have the eggs to come back here. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, and he says it. He goes, you didn't think you would hear from me again after the Super Bowl? Just give it time. Mahomes will be the GOAT.
There we go.
Oh, here we go again.
On another note, do you Patriot fans really think they're going to spend money it will take to sign a real number one receiver or trade for one? They have already started to leak out the excuses with the media. Devontae Adams, he isn't in the locker room fit. Deebo Samuel, he's out of shape. DK Metcalf, he doesn't run good enough routes or fit McDaniel's system. T. Higgins, franchise tag, but the Patriots knew that was happening. Listen, you need to face it with my Giants. Listen, you need to face it. My Giants will win the Super Bowl again before the Patriots. Hey, I do love the show, though.
Paul!
He loves it.
He loves the show, though, Chris.
I will give Paul props for coming back out of the mothballs after Kansas City completely
you've been torturing him for 3 weeks. Where's Paul? He made a comeback.
But you know what, Paul? Don't knock other people down to build your position up. You want to talk about Mahomes is still going to be the GOAT. Now let's start knocking down our spend and all that. It'll never, ever happen. And the Giants will never, ever, ever win the Super Bowl before New England. It will never happen. It won't happen. I'm telling you now.
No, they might be in worse shape. They might be a worse. Well, at least they got a number one receiver. I will give them credit, Chris.
They may have a number one in 1A.
Neighbors is a number one. Yeah, Neighbors is a number one.
Jalen Hyatt. So, no, Paul, thank you for writing back in. But the second half of that whole thing, Mark, he's
listen, he may be onto something.
Well, maybe he's onto something. I mean, let's talk about that. I don't think I don't think we need to get into the whole Mahomes is the GOAT nonsense.
No, we're
leave
not going to
that.
get into that. We're going to dismiss that comment as craziness.
But I would like to talk about some of the other things he said about
Absolutely.
the wide receivers. Mark, he's right. There's always a goddamn excuse.
Yeah. Chris, the one thing that's true of all four of those guys, to keep them on your roster is going to cost you $30 million a year. So do they really want to spend that kind of money on it to get it? Like they say, oh, we realize we got to upgrade the receiver room. We need a number one receiver, a true number one. But are they truly going to pay for a number one? Like, what did they think the market was going to be for these guys? Everybody got a bump in salary cap money. You said that, Chris, that's going to hurt us more than it helps us. So what do they think it's going to take to get these guys in here? They think they're going to take a team-friendly deal?
Well, they say they were willing to pay, what was it, Ayuk? They were willing to pay him 33 million a year, average annual salary. But Mark, that's
were you willing to give Mady guaranteed?
Yes. Are you willing to do that? Well, would you willing to give $60-70 million guaranteed?
Yeah.
Are you willing to give, obviously, okay, so the first excuse was Deebo Samuel. Okay. So he was too fat.
Yeah, out of shape.
You know? It's like Goldilocks. This is too hot. This is too cold. When's the just right, Mark? What's the just right?
Goldilocks.
Well, I mean, right? This bed's too
hard.
hard. This is too soft. This one's just right. Well, what the hell?
Shut him down. What are you talking about? We're talking about wide receivers. He's bringing up Goldilocks.
Well, what the frig, Mark? I mean, what? Okay, there's something wrong with him. Fine.
No, but Chris, listen.
What's wrong with Cup?
If you listen to his tweet today, he tweeted out something real cryptic, like something like, "This is gonna be big. It's gonna be big, like Washington," like almost insinuating I'm coming in the best shape of my life and be ready. Like he basically said that today in a tweet because he's hearing what people are saying about him.
Right.
Well, Cup, Chris, isn't even mentioned anymore. Cup's like in the back burner. No one, the Patriot, that's not even listed as a Patriot option.
Okay. So then,
again, Cup is owed $20 million a year for the next 2 years. So you're gonna have to come up with $40 million if you trade for him.
Okay. So what about some of the other guys that we keep hearing about? Well, let's talk about AJ Brown first before we talk about Metcalf. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, can you find any holes in his game? I mean, what are we talking about there?
No, there's no holes in his game.
Oh, you know why they're not talking about any holes in his game? And by the way, this is the team and their arms that talk for them out there, which I know you have something to say about, about the media and the arms of the lengths of the Patriots, the extension. But nothing wrong with him. But you know why they're not saying nothing's wrong with him? Because they know they're not going to get him. They know Philly's not going to let him out of the building, and they're never going to give up what they need to get him. I'd give up whatever to get him.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. Listen,
is he worth the fourth pick?
Yes, I'd give up the fourth pick. Yes, yeah.
Good,
listen,
because
Chris,
I was going to torch you if you said no.
Chris, listen. So I don't believe they called on AJ Brown. They called they're shaking every tree to try to get a number one receiver. Okay, that's the Patriots feeding that to their mouthpieces, the guys that feed off the fact that they have to be on the inside. So they're gonna give out whatever information the Patriots want to give them out so they can stay in their good graces. You and I, we're fans. We don't need to stay in their good graces, right? Listen. They didn't call on AJ Brown, Chris, because if Philadelphia called their bluff and said, "Yeah, we'll trade him to you. Give us the fourth pick in the draft," they're going to pay all this guaranteed money, which comes out to like $45-50 million over the next 2 years, Chris. And then there's bonus
starting
money.
next week, the 14th.
And then there's bonus money. There's all kind of money involved in this contract. There's no way they're going to do that. They're not going to give up all that money. Forget it. That's not even an option. But they put out that, they made the call. They didn't make no call. What did they call? What call? What did they call? Ghostbusters. They called Ghostbusters.
No, I mean, he's absolutely worth every penny. You give up, Mark. What these clowns don't understand that you bring AJ Brown in, you know, you give up the pick, you pay him what he's due, then you extend him. By the time 2 years from now comes, that contract is obsolete. That contract is lower on the chain. These numbers just keep going up and up and up.
Oh, yeah. So basically, right, Chris, you'd end up getting a bargain because the numbers are just going to keep going up and up. You're absolutely right. But they don't want to, they just don't want to spend the money, Chris.
So,
okay.
So now, okay, so that's
Metcalf.
So now Metcalf's good. This is a lit. Debo's too fat. Metcalf can't run routes. Godwin's got an ankle injury. Higgins is not a true one. Adams doesn't like McDaniels. Cup's too old and he's got injuries. I mean, seriously.
This is all the excuses. All the excuses.
So Metcalf, I heard today,
Yep.
you know, who the hell said it? Phil Perry of NBC Sports Boston. These guys have to be working for them. This guy
what did he say?
Says, no. I'd rather take Godwin instead of Metcalf.
Right, because he's a better system fit. Is that what everyone's saying? He's a better system
Yes,
fit.
he can run
He's coming on. Listen, he's coming off an ankle injury. A couple of years ago, he had an ACL injury. Here's a guy with injury history, and you're going to take him over Metcalf?
Because he played in this system before with Brady.
Yeah, okay.
The
Yeah, all right, I get it.
All
right, yeah, okay. I don't want to hear anybody that played in the system with Brady because that's it's Brady. It's so. Listen, I don't want to hear that it's Brady. I don't want to hear anything else about that.
I want a physical freak like this guy that can go down the field.
Yes.
And watch Drake May drop dimes into his lap.
The sad thing is, Chris, you could have had this physical freak coming out of the draft. You could have had AJ Brown coming out of the draft.
All these guys we're talking about.
Every one of them were in that draft.
They took N'Keal Harry.
Stiff that you
don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah,
don't
N'Keal
say
Harry.
it.
That's you. Yeah.
Look, so there's always issues. There's all these issues, but it doesn't appear that they're going to pull the trigger on any of these guys. So now you look at, the big thing they keep talking about is let's go trade for Jacoby Myers. What?
Oh, that's another one of our local favorites. Listen, Jacoby Myers. What? Listen, I go into the draft and get somebody better than Jacoby Myers. I got 3 guys right now written down better than Jacoby Myers in the draft. They'll be better as rookies than Jacoby Myers.
Right. So is there obviously there's a free agent worth, and by the way, I keep hearing everybody bitch and complain about this throwing Milton into this deal. Oh, you people, just because he played one game, blah, blah, blah. But that's how the NFL is. They're an overreaction. It's an overreaction league. Are you going to tell me that if you call Seattle and you say to them, okay, we'll give you, I don't know what pick, and we'll give you Milton, we want Metcalf. I mean, you may not even have to do that now that he's requested the trade. But
you probably would. But listen, Geno Smith is going 1 year. They need a replacement for Geno Smith. Unless they're going to take a quarterback in the draft, which this is a bad quarterback draft. You give Milton will be the starting quarterback on that team. If not this year, the following year, he'll be the starting quarterback on this team. And they need a good young quarterback.
You can't look at it from a Patriots perspective. You got to look at it from a Seattle perspective. Obviously you just requested a trade. So, Metcalf's not re-signing there.
Nope.
Geno Smith, you're probably not going to extend him. He hasn't gotten you where you want to go.
Nope.
So what the hell? Why wouldn't you do that deal? Talking about with a couple minutes we got Stanley. Now we're talking about the alignment. Stanley, you think it's going to be Robinson? You don't think they're going to be?
Yeah, because I don't think they're going to pay the money for Stanley. I think Stanley's going to be. There's going to be too much money on Stanley, and they're going to end up with Robinson.
Too many
suitors. But I'll take Robinson, Chris. Compared to what you had last year, he'll be a major upgrade.
I mean, so would you.
Jesus Christ, Little Sisters of the Poor would be an upgrade. But listen, all I know is this team, Chris. There's a lot of issues with this team.
What was wrong with Tooney?
Oh, they didn't want to pay the $16 million he's got left on the contract. They probably wanted to renegotiate. Listen, Chicago's offensive line, Chris, was just as bad, was worse probably than ours was last year. They go get an all-pro guard in Tooney. They go get another potential. He's a fringe all-pro guard, the kid Robinson. So now they got 2 guards, Chris. They just got to get a tackle, and they're done. Their offensive line, it's a major upgrade. And do you know what they gave up for it?
No,
a
like
fourth-round
next
pick
year.
in 26 and a sixth-round pick.
You could have
But-
beat that deal.
But Chris, they had to pay money. Robinson's $8 million, and he's got a bonus of like $6 million that kicks in May 1st. $16 million for Tooney. The Patriots don't want to pay the money, Chris.
Well, I'll tell you what. And if you want to hear more about this, tune into the Pats Nation tomorrow. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about potential trades, the cheap, Hendrickson, Parsons. All of these things are on the table tomorrow for the Pats Nation, 8 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you're tuning into that. But when we come back, hey, we're going to go B's and C's, no flipping.
Sundays are for football. And here in New England, that means
It's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone.
You have the worst wide receiver room in the National Football League.
This is why the Patriots need us in the draft room. Let's see what the Pats Nation thinks about that, Mark.
Starting June 30th, Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. on 790 The Score.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. Mark, you look like you had something to say before we went to
Chris,
break.
you didn't thank Paul. You just moved right along without thanking our buddy Paul for that. Listen, besides the nonsense about
Times
the
you want me to
Giants,
give Paul props. I gave him props at the beginning.
listen,
Right.
besides the nonsense about the Giants and the Mahomes comment, that was a very good heated hotline. He brought up a very good topic, and he was right.
You ready for B's and C's, Joe?
All right, let's go. Screw Paul. Screw him. Let's go.
Okay, Mark. So talking about these two teams, the trade deadline, when this airs, is come and gone. It's actually we're recording on Thursday, so it's tomorrow
Chris,
is the trade.
so they
deadline
made
for
a
the-
trade early in the week,
Yeah,
which you and
Fredrickson.
I were like, okay, it's gonna be a big fire sale. And then all of a sudden they didn't do anything else.
Nothing.
Well, not yet. I mean, they technically could when this is aired. And then there was a rumor about Marshawn and
So
Sidney
talk-
Crosby
To go to
and somebody else going to the Avalanche.
right.
And a guy, some Canadian sportscaster said, "Oh, it's real. If Crosby agrees to it, they all agree to it, and the deal will be made." I don't know if I believe all that, Chris. Do you?
You were watching that same replay at 1 a.m?
Yeah. What do I
Last
got,
night?
kid? What do I got? Right? Yeah.
He called me last night at 12:30 my time. What time is that there then?
2:30. Because I knew you were up. Because you were texting me. So I said, "Well, he's up."
He's watching The Godfather, Joe.
I
Okay.
couldn't sleep.
2:30 in the morning. This is the issues that we have. Yeah, Mark, if Crosby says yes to that, maybe that happens. Listen, I think it's great. You do that deal in a second if you're Bruins. I mean, so yeah, they give Fredrickson away for a second, a fourth, another prospect.
They
That's
got,
not
they
enough.
got, but at least they got something in return, Chris, like a few different things. It wasn't just like one pick, right?
Well, you got to do it. Yeah, you got to do the
You gotta
deal.
do it.
But you also have to do things to get first round picks too. I mean, you got to, there are guys on this team. There's
but
like I
Chris,
said,
they-
Marshawn, Carlo.
They anybody worth the first round pick?
Well, the problem that we have, the biggest problem that we have, that's this stupid slug over here that and I'm finding my sheet here on this. Swayman, okay? It would be perfect. It would be a perfect thing to be able to move him for a lot of picks, a lot of value, a lot of capital coming back, right? It would be.
Yeah, it would be.
If he wasn't such a goddamn slug, okay, that he's ranked in goals against 46, save percentage 40. He's the worst in the league, Mark. In total goals allowed, power play goals allowed, 48 high day save percent. Look, he stinks. And now you got that $8.5 million.
But is that him or is that a product of the team?
Oh, he's. I don't think he's as bad as these numbers. No, I don't think he's as bad as these numbers. But the problem that we have is it handcuffs now being able to move him. Who the hell wants him? He's so depressed. His value is so deflated
especially with the $8 million, $8.5 million, Chris.
at this point. He's never been less marketable than he is at this moment.
Yeah.
And so, like we talked about Joe Milton is worth the most he's ever going to be worth to the Patriots right now. Well, this guy's worth the least. And that's a guy you would have needed to move and get big. Because even with the $8.5 million, you probably could have moved him for some good picks, a prospect back, first round picks. You could have got that if the guy played halfway decent, the jerk, So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So what else did they got, Chris? What else did they got that?
They can look at Carlo. They should be moving guys like Carlo, Marchand, even like the Lindholm situation. Even guys that have no trades that you can say, we can move we can talk this guy into a trade. Who the hell wants to be on that team anyway?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that, Chris. I don't think it would take much, especially if you trade a guy like, say, maybe a Lindholm, where if he can stay healthy, a contender might say, yeah, he's one more, big body we can put out there, in a run for the cup. They might be willing to give you, a pick, a decent pick for somebody like him.
How about McAvoy?
Oh yeah, you get something, man. Yep.
Everybody's on the table. Everyone. Yeah.
Except Pasternak. Pasternak has played well, Chris, the last 30 games. He really has. I don't know if he would be on the table.
No, I'm okay. Okay, keep Pasternak. Fine.
Yeah.
Everybody else, they say, well, you don't want to move guys like Patra. He's your future. Move him. Trade him. I don't care.
Wow, you're out on everybody over here.
I don't care. Listen, they're at the bottom of the barrel of team. I know, and they're 3 points out of the possible playoffs. Move everybody. Hit the rock bottom and build from there.
Well, because you're not going anywhere. What are you going to do? You're going to sneak into the playoffs because the conference is so bad that you get in out of because it's so bad. So you get in by default, and then you get your face kicked in the opening round. Is that what they really want to do?
And even 1-for-1 deals are fine. Even like I trade one of my guys that's supposed to be good for one of your guys that's supposed to be good. Maybe he's not a fit there. Maybe my guy's not a fit here. Yeah. And we do the flip like a McAvoy, somebody like that. Why not?
I'm okay with. I'm okay with that, Chris, because you're right. You have to do something. If you do nothing else and you just got those couple of picks that you got. How are you doing? How are you changing this team next year? Like, if you don't have don't bring in a bunch of picks, or like you said, Chris, you trade 1-for-1. What's going to be different about this team next year?
You got to change the culture. You got to change something.
You're going to be back in the same position. If
so
not, probably worse.
You're trading the captain. I would argue to you he's probably one of the worst captain that the Bruins have ever had. And I'm not talking about guys that were there for like a year as a captain. I'm talking like the leadership was a huge issue on this team this year. A huge issue. Got no problem moving on from Marchand. No problem doing that at all. So,
but Chris, isn't his contract up at the end of the year? So aren't you going to lose him technically for nothing if he leaves?
If he leaves, but they talk about. We played on the show last week. They talk about both of them want him to be here and all this other. All these guys, all these hockey players are morons. I don't understand it. The basketball players, they don't care. They'll move. They go, hey, more money there, championship here, I'm out. But the hockey players, I like the area. My kids go to school. Kids, put them in another school. Sink or swim, kid. Learn young.
What is wrong with you?
Dog world out there, kid.
Listen, you need some kind of therapy.
I used to have a teacher in school that used to yell at us, and say,
no, really?
He used to say, look, kid, the world's passing you by, and it ain't stopping at your doorstep, he used to say. And then he'd throw an eraser at the back of my head. So
imagine a teacher throwing an eraser at a kid now. That'd be
all the time.
Jail.
All the time. I can name them, but I'm not going to. I don't even know if they're alive anymore. Who the hell knows? Anyway,
Joe,
Celtics.
You weren't like that, Joe. You were a good student.
No,
he was
quiet.
a good student.
Joe was quiet. He was very quiet.
Not like his brother.
Passively judging everyone.
He couldn't get a word in around the dinner table. So, okay. Let's talk about the Celtics, Mark. And by the way, I teased it in the show. Pritchard.
Go ahead.
You scored what, 40 42, 43 points.
Something like that.
And White in the same game scored 40. Mark, did you know? This is shocking to me.
You're going to tell me. I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Well, I already know you know. I'm just not sure if
Go
anyone else
ahead.
knows.
All right.
Joe, did you know that they're the first teammate, the first two players in Celtics history to both go for 40 in a game? No Celtics in history, two players in one game went for 40.
Now think about all the great
doesn't seem
teams
right.
Chris, think about all the great teams and great players they've had. That doesn't seem right. You mean to tell me McHale and Bird never went for 40 together and all these guys, right? Think about that. Think about that.
And what's his name? Russell and just
Think
over
about
the
it.
years, Garnett, Pierce,
About
nobody.
that, yeah. You know?
Imagine.
That's
I love
something.
this kid. I love this kid. I told you 3 years ago, this kid's going to be something else. Sixth man of the year. Love it.
Yeah.
Mark,
You
listen,
think
they
he's gonna
owe a
be
lot of
sixth
wins
man
to
of the
this
year?
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's absolutely going to be sixth man. If he's not, it's a tragedy, in my opinion. So I'm still
All right.
waiting for my Pritchard shirt to be delivered to me.
Joe, get on that. Would you, Joe, get on that?
Tatum feels unappreciated, Mark.
Oh, but did he really? Oh, no, he did say it, right? That didn't come from the media.
Yeah, but you
He
know what?
did say it.
Mark, they ask him the question.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to ask the kid the question, listen, I will give Tatum this. He's the most truthful athlete we've had in this area. Like,
But Chris, does he feel underappreciated by Celtics fans or by the NBA, like in general? That's what I wasn't sure of.
Not by Celtics fans. The green
Well,
teamers,
that's what I'm saying.
those
So
people.
So he thinks the NBA doesn't value
Yeah.
him because in his mind, Chris, he really thinks he should have won the MVP a couple of years ago. Remember, he didn't win it. He really thought he should have won the MVP that year.
Well, he said if you put his numbers, if you took the name away, and you said that whoever else had these numbers, all the stuff he's done, okay?
Mhm.
This guy's been to how many conference finals has he been to?
Yeah, a lot.
Like more than 4, right? I mean, he's been to
He's been to a few.
6. I think he's been to 6.
Has he been to that many?
I think he's been
don't
to
know
6 conference
I
finals.
don't know if it's been that many, has it?
Well, it's a lot. If it's
It's a
not,
lot.
I
No,
thought I
it is.
heard
It is
6.
a lot. All right.
So, Mark, the problem is with that kind of glitz and if it were hockey, he would be MVP. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he would be.
we're comparing these two sports. He's not glitz and glamour enough
No.
to be the face of the NBA. Look, okay, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you said, "Oh, did you see that Jason Tatum highlight?"
Yeah, we don't. I don't think I've ever said that to you.
And that's
I'm gonna
why.
be honest with you.
But you say
yeah.
Edwards. Did you see that? Did you see Jokic? Did you see Luka?
Yeah.
Did you see these guys? Listen, I think he's every bit as good as all the
absolutely.
guys I just mentioned.
Positively.
And I do. I put him in Jokic's category because I think I put him in his category because all around he's as good of an all-around basketball player as you're going to get in this league.
He is. Jokic won a couple of MVPs.
He did, but the point is, he doesn't talk a lot. He's not flamboyant. He doesn't draw press. He doesn't do commercials. He does, local stuff, but he doesn't do nationally the things that MVPs campaign for.
Yeah.
He doesn't campaign for it.
Yeah.
But I do think. I think
And in the same light, Chris, is Jaylen Brown underappreciated too?
No, I think Jaylen Brown gets more hype around the nation than Tatum does.
Tatum does. Okay.
He got the MVPs
Of those the finals, right? Yeah.
So I think he gets more of that. And then you get guys. Then the other thing I wanted to ask you about is Gary Washburn says the NBA players are too criticized.
What?
I thought I was going to throw up in my mouth when I heard this.
What do you mean they're too critical? What's
They're
he
too
talking about?
criticized. Too much criticism of NBA players, Mark.
What is even? Why? Where's that coming from?
Well, look, all over social media and stuff, and there too many negative things are said about. It's a hard life. It's a hard thing to be an NBA player with all the scrutiny.
Why?
And all
Because
that
of all the
bullshit.
travel? Why
No,
is it
like
a hard
just that
life?
people are always, on them and criticizing them for their play and the things they do and all that. Hey, I got an idea. Felger said it this week. Get off social media then if you don't like it. Stay off it. Put your phone away, Mark. Put your damn phone away. They'll never do it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Falga brings up a good point. You know what? Yeah, get off social media then. Hey,
if you don't like it.
If you don't like it, I mean, what the frig? Come on, listen.
So
you know what the problem with these NBA players are? They're too goddamn soft now. You know what I mean? Oh, they're exchanging jerseys at the end of the game. They're hugging each other, high-fiving each other at the end of the game. What happened to the days when Garnett wanted to spit in somebody's face? He wouldn't even go through the line because he wanted to spit in somebody's face because they gave him like that's when basketball was basketball. There was rivalries. You tuned in to see that the teams play each other because you knew they hated each other. And if somebody went under the basket, they were going to get clotheslined. That's gone. Garnett wasn't exchanging jerseys with people after the game.
Yeah. So
come on.
So let's pay attention. Let us know what you think. Let us know if Jason Tatum is unappreciated in your mind nationally. Let us know that in Heated Hotline. Meanwhile, we're going to pay attention to the rest of the season. They're kind of blowing some leads at the end of games, having some issues in the second half of games. We're going to be talking about that in the coming weeks. But, and Mark, make sure you keep this energy up because B's and C's first was presented by CORSO Law Group, CORSOLawGroup.com. But keep the energy up because Catone's Comments is next.
So no one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to CORSOLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help.
Time for Catone's Comments!
So I have an issue with this technology, with these, especially when it comes to cars. You got a lot of issues. No, I do, but especially when it comes to cars. I'm just going to talk a couple of minutes about this, and they're going to be long, but I got to talk about this. And I know, Chris, you're going to chime in when this is over because you got one of those spaceships. I don't know what you're driving. It's like a spaceship. He don't even go in the car, Joe, because he don't even know how to open the doors. He don't even know how to get in the thing, right?
No,
but
why do people have to knock others down to build people up?
Oh,
Joe?
Shut up. Listen, so I got this, my mother-in-law's got this car, right? This new car she got. I don't even know what the hell it is, but she got this car. So the other day, I'm walking by the car, and all of a sudden, beep, the thing's lighting up. Things are going off. I said, what the hell is this thing? Well, the door's locked. They unlock. You walk close enough to the car, the doors lock. If you don't have your keys, they unlock. All you hear is clicking. Click, click, click. I don't know what the hell's going on. It senses somebody's near the door. Listen, I don't even know. I don't even know what the hell it is. All I know is if you try to get in the car, it's like you need a physics degree, and then it's ridiculous. But anyways, so now the other day I think it was over the weekend, last weekend. It was cold. It was real cold. Might have been Saturday. It was real cold. It was windy. So I said, hey, you know what? There's some ice in the car. I said, my wife had to go out. She was going to get, nails done and all this stuff, right? All this nonsense, right? So I said, I'm going to be a good husband. I'm going to go warm the car up, clean it off, do all this stuff, right? But she got one of those cars. You go out there, you push the button, and the car starts when you push the button. All right, well, what do I know? So I clean it all up, get it all rolling for her. Beautiful. Right now, meanwhile, I gotta go get my oil changed in my car. Okay, so I come in the house, right? Put my jacket away. She goes to do her nails. I go have a little cup of coffee. I go get my oil changed. All of a sudden, the phone rings. Do you got my keys? I said, what are you talking about? I can't turn the car off. I said, well, what? Like, in other words, listen, I forgot you hit the button. Well, now. If you don't, these stupid keys, there's no key. It's just technology. The goddamn, the thing is like a sensor. I don't know. So there's no key. Listen, I'm a dinosaur. Give me the goddamn key back. I want the key that I can put in the thing, turn it, start it, turn it off. I don't want no push the button. Is that say open sesame? Open sesame. I don't know what the hell. I don't want any part of this technology. Give me the old-fashioned key to start the car, so I know that where the thing is. I forgot this thing was in my jacket because the car was running. You can't turn it off. I had to take. I was stuck getting my oil changed. I had to leave, cancel the appointment. It ruined my day, and go give her this nonsense key. So I'm just fed up. Like, listen, I understand technology. You're gonna roll with all this new stuff, but this is craziness. These cars, this is craziness, Chris. And you got a car, you don't even know how to get in it. You don't even drive the thing because you don't even know how to drive it.
First of all, it's called a remote start.
Oh, I don't know what it's called. Who told you what you call that? Was that what it's called?
I heard that somewhere.
I don't know.
Listen, believe it or not, I actually have that on my. I have a, I drive a simple car.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like a rental. You would get a rental. It's like a Ford Fusion. This is what I'm driving. Okay, I got the worst car in the house. But I love it. It's if you look inside, it's a 2016. This thing looks like it just came off the showroom floor.
That's because no one's allowed in the car. But
I don't let anybody drive it. I don't let anybody go in it. Nobody's eating in there, drinking. I like my car the way I like my car. I don't need a new car. I don't want to hear it. They can drive the new cars. I have the key that inserts and turns like
there you go.
Person,
there you go.
But I did get the remote start because it's so friggin' hot out here that I did make them put that
for the air condition.
Yeah, I had to get it done after because they don't offer that in this car, So, but yes, it's a remote start. But you see what happens. See, Joe, the problem with this guy is that he doesn't listen to us.
Here we go.
I've told you over and over and over again that it does you no good to be a good husband. How did that work out for you?
Not good. Not good.
How does it ever work out for you? Did we remember the story about you going to the store with her because you thought, you would be good? You pushed the carriage around and then the old lady hit you with the carriage and then it was a whole...
Yeah.
Remember that story?
I remember.
Countless, Joe.
Countless.
But I mean, that's because you're driving a 1978 Pinto.
No. I have the remote start too, but listen, I just don't like it. I want a key, like your car. Give me an old-fashioned key. That's what I want.
My son drives the electric, the one you're talking, the spaceship.
Yeah, you can't drive that thing.
I've had that car. We've had that car for over 3 years. Okay.
Yep.
Take a guess how many times I've driven it.
Once.
That was the test drive, right?
Yeah, that's when I backed it up out of the garage. Listen, it's got there's no key, like it's on your phone. I don't understand. So we bought the car, okay? I go down there. First of all, the whole experience of buying the cars, it's a Tesla. It's one of these, And the whole experience of purchasing this vehicle I don't even understand it. I can't even imagine what my father would do. So I'm told, okay, you go online, right? And you order the thing, and there's only a few features you can pick, just a couple of things, the tire color, the rims, like the color of the car. I mean, it's pretty much it, everything else is the way it comes. So you give them like $250 and you order it. There's no negotiating. There's no negotiating. The price of the vehicle is the price of the vehicle. I said, what? You mean I can't go down there and start talking to the people?
You want to go down there and beat them up and get money
yes.
off the price? Yeah.
I want to be able to walk off the lot, then come back. I want to experience that whole. Hang on, I'll go talk to my manager, and then they leave. And then they come back like they're
Those
really.
days are good. Yeah.
No, that wasn't what this was about. This was the car's the car, right, Mark? So so I go to get it. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go down. I gotta go down there and pick this thing up, right? Yeah. No, that's not how it works. They deliver it to the house, wrapped, literally bubble wrapped.
What?
It's wrapped, which is nice because no filthy disgrace ever got
Oh
in the
yeah.
vehicle, which is
You
great.
like that? Yeah, you
know.
like that? Yeah.
So you gotta wait. We had to wait like 6 months for this vehicle because it was during the time, COVID and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
So it comes wrapped. So I'm like, okay. So they take it off the thing, they unwrap the car, and that's it. Like I said, well, all right. How do you, this guy's a driver. He doesn't, he's just delivering the car. I'm asking questions. I said, all right, now what? Oh, well, you got to go on the app. You go on the app and then you hit the button.
It tells you how to do everything.
Well, yeah, but it tells you, okay, hit to agree to financing, agree to it. Once you agree to the numbers and the finance and what the payment and all that, then it's just all of a sudden you hear boom, and the car is activated. I thought I was in Star Wars.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, okay, well, how do you run it? How's the car run? How do you turn it on? Well, you don't turn it on. You don't turn the car on, Mark. It's always on.
What?
Yeah. So they told me, I called and I said, I don't understand. Somebody's got to make me understand what the hell's going on here. So he says, well, look at it like your cell phone. When your cell phone gets like it goes to sleep.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's what happens. And then when you pull the app up on the phone, okay, Mark, put the app up on the phone and it says, okay, once you turn that up like that, it opens so when you get close to it, the door opens, like it unlocks. And then when you walk away, it locks.
Jesus Christ.
And the whole thing is a touch screen. It's like a big computer screen that you touch while that's the whole system. Works that way. One time, that's it.
Well, now I know why you've never driven that thing. Jesus Christ.
I'm afraid of it. It's fast too.
Yeah, I could never drive.
I understand that it is, but it is nice because I get to see how fast he's going and stuff when he's driving and all that. Yeah, Mark, I'm with you. Listen, I don't understand it anymore. I mean, I don't. I just want to get in the car and drive.
Imagine what that car's going to be like. Imagine what those. So that's that now, 2025, what you just described. Imagine what it's going to be in 2035, Chris. You and I will be sitting there drooling on ourselves, watching cars go by. We'll just be waving. What are we doing? Jesus Christ.
Yo, have you seen these vehicles? I almost got in an accident once because I'm driving and I look over at the light at the car next to me. There's nobody in it.
What?
There's no one in the car.
Yeah, we don't have those over here yet, Joe.
No, not yet. Not over here.
Not over here yet.
They get pizza delivery out in the west.
What do you mean there's nobody in the What do you mean there's nobody in the car?
They got all that stuff with nobody in it.
Who's driving the car?
No one.
Yeah, but who's it transporting? There's no one in the car?
Somebody's in the back seat.
They're in the back seat, and no one's behind the wheel?
It's like an Uber thing, and this clown's sitting in the back seat, and there's nobody. Now, on the outside of the car, it looks like the Millennium Falcon. It's got cameras and this and that and bubbles and all kinds of crap on the outside of this vehicle. And the light turned green. I almost got rear-ended because I didn't move.
And the car took off when the light turned green?
Took off, changed lanes. So I followed it because I was curious. And I'm following this vehicle. And it's, driving the speed limit, driving a little over the speed limit.
It's driving like somebody was behind the wheel.
Nobody's there. The weirdest thing I've ever seen was this situation. And it made me realize how much I like staying home. Joe.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I just, I can't get into this,
Which is why we have to answer the question, like, why are you guys at home? We've got that from the fans. You go, well, I can't get them to leave.
There we go.
There they are.
Mark, wait till you guys see this. Waymo, I think it's called. Where do you see it? It's the weirdest friggin' thing you've ever seen in your life. Tell your wife that. Tell her safe because you call the place for a ride and the thing shows up with nobody in it. And this is what we've become, Mark. We don't have to talk to people anymore. Nobody has to communicate with anybody about anything.
That's the best thing for you.
Yeah, but it is irritating too.
I like people.
Yeah, okay. That's where you lost the whole viewer. That's where you lost all the audience just now. Did that. So, Mark, I tell your wife that, hey, next car we're going to get, it's not going to even have anybody in it. You don't even have to drive it. Mark, one more reason you should listen to me and listen to Joe. Don't be a good husband. Don't try to help anybody. Don't leave the house. Don't do anything. Stay in your 1978 Pinto and just be happy with that. All right?
Yeah, listen.
Nothing wrong with that life.
Nothing wrong with that.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with that.
Good stuff. Catone's comments was presented by the Pats Nation. Jesus, I think I talked more, though, in Catone's comments this time. Sorry. But it's presented by the Pats Nation, Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you tune in to it tomorrow morning, because we're going to have a lot of things to talk about. We're going to elaborate on the trade talk. We're going to talk about free agency, combine, everything. So stick around for that. But when we come back, we're going to talk Yankees versus Red Sox. No flipping.
Sundays are for football. And here in New England, that means it's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone.
You have the worst wide receiver room in the National Football League.
This is why the Patriots need us in the draft room. Let's see what the Pats Nation thinks about that, Mark.
Starting June 30th, Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. on 790 The Score.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal. New England, nobody in the car, nobody driving.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if that freaked me out. Actually, that would probably freak me out if I looked over and there's nobody in the driver's seat and the car's driving.
No, I don't think your region's ready for that.
No. We're always last to get stuff around here, Joe. That'd be years before we see one of those.
Our state hasn't figured out how to screw everybody over it. Somehow they got to get the hand out and get some money.
Figure out how to tax the crap out of people in order to have it first. There you go. Which is another reason why nobody wants to come to friggin' Massachusetts over there, because they're killing them with taxes and the millionaire.
They're killing with the millionaire tax. Yeah,
unbelievable. Don't they know that the Patriots can't succeed unless they change all that? God damn, man.
Yeah, you would think, right?
I don't care about people in poverty and all. I want the Patriots to be good. That's it. That's all I care about.
What is wrong with you? There's something wrong with you.
All right, let's talk about baseball. You ready? You guys ready to do that? We're going to do it Yankees versus Red Sox. Joe. Okay, Mark. So let's start with the Yankees. Let's get our Catone update on the New York Yankees.
Chris, listen. So let's start by saying this: Lewis Hill, Rookie of the Year last year, had a great, And the thing before last year was he had a little bit of an injury history when he first was developing in the farm system. But so he strained his lat. He's going to be out a minimum before he can even throw a baseball. 6 weeks minimum, which means you're not going to probably see him until after beginning of July. Break. I'm thinking All-Star break, beginning of July, you'll see him, right? If he can't throw the ball for 6-7 weeks, then he's going to get himself back in shape. Okay. Now, you got the other guy, Stanton, both elbows. I don't know what he's got with both. He's on IL. You're not going to see him. Listen, it takes him a while to get going to begin with, Chris. If he doesn't have a spring training, when are you going to see him? June? Another guy. When are you going to see him? Right? And listen, if you
the only thing you say about him is that he's used to it.
He's used to it. Maybe he can get going sooner. But so those are two guys, Chris, that are going to be out to start the year. Then you had this kid, Dominguez, Jason Dominguez, 21 years old, 22 years old. He's supposed to be the next thing. They call him the Martian because he's out of this world. He's supposed to be the next franchise guy along with Judge, right? He's supposed to be your center fielder. So why do you go sign Bellinger to put in center field? Dominguez can't play left field. He looks awful in left field.
Yeah, it's like Ringley brothers out there with him. He's
like Ringley brothers out there, right? But Chris, it's a different position. He's a center fielder. Why are you screwing around and going to get Bellinger? If you're getting Bellinger, you need to tell him, listen, you're coming here, you're playing left field. You're not playing center field. We got a center fielder for the next 15 years. You're not going to play center field. So I don't understand what they
Mark,
did.
Why should he care? Why should Bellinger care? I mean, Judge moves all around the outfield.
I don't think he would care, Chris. I don't know what the hell Boone is doing.
I mean, if Aaron Judge can move around the outfield and play all three spots, which he's done, I don't know how much he played left.
And I don't know why. And I don't know why this kid Dominguez can't play left, Chris. But for whatever reason, he can't do it. So put him in center. That's his natural position. That's where he's always played. Put the goddamn kid in center. So mentally, the kid's not worrying about the field. He's not worrying about making errors. He can relax at the plate and he can hit. Absolutely. I mean, this guy. And then you want to go sign Boone to an extension, and he's pulling this nonsense. Really?
Because here's the problem now that you have. And by the way, it's a much different. Some people say, well, what the hell's the difference? I mean, play center, play left.
Explain it.
It's a much different situation because in center field, yes, you have a lot of ground to cover. Okay. But you're looking at the whole diamond, like your vision of how the ball comes off the bat. You get to see the barrel. You get to see the meat of the barrel hit the ball in center field. So your jumps are better. The way the ball comes off the bat, the way you're watching the ball come from the pitcher's hand to the batter. These are all things that you're watching when you're playing in the outfield. You don't just stand there and wait for the ball to get hit. You got a scouting report. You're looking at your pitcher's release points. You're looking at spin rates. You're looking all that from the outfield. Now, when you switch that vantage point to left field, okay. It's a whole different angle. Sometimes you can't see the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand right. You can't see the meat of the barrel hitting the ball. I mean, it's just a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
So I don't blame. I mean, I'm not one of these that play. Just do it. Right field and center a little easier because percentage wise, I think there's a lot. Well, no, lately now there's been a lot of balls that hit the right field now. But traditionally, you didn't get as much play. You can see a little more. The majority of the hitters are right-handed, so the way you're seeing it come off the bat's different. So you can kind of play both of those. That's why you don't see guys playing left field and center field. You usually see right field and center, like
right
Judge.
Field and center. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Chris. You're right about that.
So I don't blame it, but Boone. But now you got a problem, don't you? Because now you've already started this.
Yes.
Now what are you going to do?
The only thing they can get away with, maybe, if they had another outfielder, you could always rotate Bellinger between DH, center, Dominguez, DH, center. They could be in a lineup every day, but you could get them because Stanton's out, right, for a while. But
Band-Aid, though.
They screwed this all up, Chris.
Who's on defense if you do that, Mark?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'd need a left fielder. They got a problem.
What are they going to do before we get to the Red Sox? How's that working out at third base, second base?
Third base, Chris, I think it's going to be Chisholm at third. I mean, at second. But third base, the other guy got hurt again, the Mayu.
I didn't think that.
I don't even know how they brought him back. So you got Cabrera, you got a couple of guys working out at third base. But you know what's interesting, Chris? Shortstop. They got this prospect, 21 years old. He's hitting the cover off the ball. This George Lombard Jr. Why can't they flip him over to third base?
But okay,
you got Volpe. You got Volpe at short. How many shortstop? This kid Lombard stuck with Volpe there. Either that, unless you're gonna at some point trade Volpe for a couple of like a big pitcher or somebody. This kid Lombard's gonna be a star too. So you got to get him. What are you gonna put him? You're gonna put him at second in a couple of years, maybe instead of Chisholm. Ship Chisholm back to third. I don't know.
This is a very, very, very important year for Volpe. Because now this kid's going to be pushing him.
Absolutely.
So So, but Mark, the question I have for you though is, you say he's hitting the cover off the ball against what though? Is he hitting? Is he
No, it's
getting a lot of
AAA.
good against?
Not triple A.
how's he?
It's spring training. No, he's played against.
But
some-
is it later in the innings, or is he facing quality pitchers?
No, he's facing quality pitching, Chris. He is.
Yeah.
He is. But listen, it's still spring training. I say he's facing quality pitching, but you don't know how many of those guys are going to make a roster, right? You still don't. We don't know. So, but
Well,
the kid is
Volpe
shows
feels
promise.
secure, Mark. Volpe feels secure. You know why? Because stupid Boone will never put one of those guys in the lineup during the year.
No,
He'll
you're right.
bring this kid up to put him in.
No, you're right. You're right. What about your favorite team, the Red Sox?
Oh, you know what? You need to stop saying that crap, Joe. I'm sick and tired. He's always telling me that I'm now a Red Sox fan.
Hey, well, your buddy Cassis. I heard you were going to take him out to dinner. Christian Cassis.
I don't know. I think this is the guy that's sitting in the back of that Waymo just looking around in space. You know what I mean? this idiot Cassis over here. Okay, so now he feels like I don't even know how to say this with a straight face, but he feels like he thinks he can be a 40 home run, 120 RBI guy. Okay. That if he's not doing that, okay, then he, that's the expectation for him, Mark.
Yeah, but Chris, listen.
Two guys did it last, just so before you go. Two guys did it all last season. Season. Guess who?
I know who. Ohtani and Judge.
Right. And before in history, in Red Sox history, okay?
Yeah, I know who it is. I got it. I was going to read it to you. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Tell us who the hell in history has done it.
Go ahead. You got the sheet. Go
There's
ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. One of them's twice. So there's 9 guys. Ortiz, Jimmy Fox, Ortiz again. So there's 8. Jim Rice, Ramirez, Mo Vaughn, Yastrzemski, Ted Williams, Manny Ramirez again, JD Martinez, Mark, and Cassis.
He puts himself in that class.
Tristan Cassis.
Yeah, but Chris, you know what the crazy part is? Breslow kind of opened the door to that nonsense. Like, what is wrong with the Red Sox? Really?
They're so stupid. That's why I can never be a fan of that kind of team. They're just stupid.
And Chris, how about the third base battle now?
How do you let that guy talk ever?
I don't know. He's a cartoon character, that kid. An absolute cartoon character.
Give us the update on third base.
What's going on with third base now? So Bregman's been playing every day now. Well, not every day, but Bregman's your starting third baseman. He's been getting the majority of the reps in the real games that, if you're playing frontline guys, he's the starter.
What's Devers doing?
Devers hasn't played the whole spring. He said he's got I don't know if he said he's a sore shoulder.
There we go.
Sore shoulder. Here we go. Hasn't been even in a bat yet. So we were thinking, well, maybe, Cora brings him in, has a conversation with him, and he's okay with being a DH, but he's not even in the lineup. He's got a sore shoulder. What does that mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Red Sox have shown up. They are now here. Here it is. This is so a Red Sox thing. It's just, I don't know. Maybe they're going to move him, Mark.
I don't know. He hasn't played yet, so I don't know. Was just
maybe Vlad Guerrero in Toronto, and maybe something.
Does he really have a sore shoulder? I don't know.
No.
Maybe he does. You don't think so?
Now, how? Where did he get the sore shoulder from? Patting himself on the back at third base. He led the league in errors. Yeah.
Listen, they're not going to get Guerrero, Chris. Guerrero would only be interested in coming here if Devers is here, because he's friendly with Devers. So he's not coming here to play. He's not going to. I mean, obviously, I guess if it was a trade, he has no choice. But when he becomes a free agent, if Devers wants out of here, he's not going to come to the Red Sox. Guerrero.
Yeah, well, stick around. It's definitely drama. It's definitely the Red Sox, and we will be paying attention to it. But CORSO and CATONE was presented by the Pats Nation, Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Again, tomorrow we're going to have more on the Patriots spend, combine results, draft, a lot of free agent discussion, and so much more. Come back next Saturday, noon Eastern. We're going to talk free agency frenzy as it starts up next week. Stick around for that. We are CORSO and CATONE, the real deal, New England feel. See you next Saturday.
Now find CORSO and CATONE on AM 790, The Score, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you podcast. or subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch the chaos every Saturday at noon.